Please welcome to the stage, Rosie May.
It is 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been awake for about 30 minutes, and I'm rolling out my yoga mat underneath the one window in my 450 square foot studio apartment. I'm 21, and I recently moved out of my parents' house, and I'm living on my own by myself, and I feel like an adult for the first time ever because I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and I've always been the baby and the one that everybody always had to protect and take care of. And I'm excited to prove that I can be an adult who can take care of myself. And part of that is this new routine that I've adopted of doing yoga every morning. So I'm rolling out my mat and my phone rings. And I see that it's my brother. And my brother lives at home with my mom and dad, and he works in a bar. And normally gets out of work at 5 a.m. So it's completely normal for him to still be up at 6. And I figure he probably is playing video games and sat on his phone and butt dialed me. And I almost don't answer, but I decide to at the last minute. And I say, hello? And he says, May, you got to get to the house right now. It's a family emergency. And I say, what's going on? And he says, it's Dad. And then he hangs up. And I only live like 2 miles from my parents' house, but I don't have my driver's license, so I need somebody to come and pick me up. And I call my brother back, and he doesn't answer. And then I call my other brother, and he doesn't answer. And I call my sister and my mom and my dad, and nobody's answering. And I look at the phone, or at my phone, and I see that it's 6:15, and I'm like, okay, they're probably still sleeping, and I'll just wait for somebody to call me. And 20 minutes go by, I haven't heard anything, so I call everybody again, no answer. 30 minutes go by, 45 minutes, and I still have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, what the fuck? You can't just call me and drop a bomb like that and then leave me hanging. And I feel like I did all those times when I was a kid when my family wasn't telling me something because they thought that they were protecting me. And I'm starting to get really pissed off. And I'm like, guys, like, you can't do this to me. And so I call everyone one more time, and I finally get in touch with my sister. And I say, Claire, do you know what the fuck is going on? Like, what is happening? What did Dad do? And she says, May, Dad's dead. And I don't believe her because my dad is 56 and he's healthy and he's strong and he probably eats too much candy and he could run more, but like he's fine. And I want to start arguing with her. And I'm like, do you know who Dad is? You realize that Dad has survived motorcycle accidents where the bike was totaled and crunched up and he walked away without a scratch, and he's mended his own broken bones with ace bandages and Tylenol. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This man can't be dead. And I want to start arguing with her, but I can't because my lips are going numb and my ears are ringing and I'm losing my peripheral vision, and I have to look at the floor because I'm positive that all the blood in my body is just draining out of me through the bottom of my feet. And that's why I'm about to faint right now, not because of what my sister just told me. And I know that she's still talking, but I can't understand what she's saying. And I know that I'm responding to her, but I don't know what I'm saying. And I blink, and then I'm getting dressed. And then I blink, and I open my eyes, and I'm in my sister's car. And then I blink, and I open my eyes again, and we're outside of my house. And it's like 7:30 on a Friday morning. And like kids are running to the bus stop and people are getting in their cars to go to work. And there's the house that I grew up in, and there's caution tape holding the front door open, and there's an ambulance parked in my driveway, and there's police cars, and this doesn't make any sense to me. And my sister and I walk in, and there's nobody there. No one in my family comes to say hello. We don't see any police officers or any paramedics. There's just an empty hallway and the French doors to the living room wide open, and my father's body just laying on the hardwood floor. And he's not covered in any sort of sheet or anything. He's just in his old sweatpants that he always wears, and there's like a white cloth covering his face. And I'm looking at him and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm trying to comprehend, and my sister nudges me and she says, "Is it fucked up that I want to see his face?" And I say, "No, because I want to see his face too." And she takes the cloth off, and I want to start arguing with her again because he doesn't look dead. He doesn't look like any dead person I've ever seen in movies or on TV. He doesn't look like my grandparents or my friend's mom when they died in the hospital. He doesn't look like anyone I've ever seen laying in a casket at a wake before. He looks like he's sleeping. He looks like he's dreaming. Like he's even got this smile on his face that you get like when you walk out of a massage and you're just like, like that dopey, like he looks like that. And I'm arguing with myself and I'm trying to understand what's going on because I don't want to admit to myself that I know how my dad died. And I don't want to go there because my dad is incredibly deceiving. And when you look at him, you see a guy who gets up and goes to work and works hard for 12 hours a day. And then he comes home and he hangs out with his family. And he goes to church every Sunday, and we can't go anywhere in town without somebody recognizing him and knowing him and coming and talking to him for 15 minutes. And he's like the perfect dad, and he's mastered the art of cooking on the grill and skimming the pool and playing with the kids all at the same time. And he's the guy who's going to live to be 107 and have all the stories to tell all the kids at every family reunion. And nothing makes sense to me right now. But I'm looking at that smile on my dad's face, and I'm remembering that to the outside eye, you don't look at my dad and see that he's got a taste for cocaine, but that he smokes crack because it's cheaper. You don't look at my dad and see a guy who grew up in a time when it was socially acceptable and even kind of expected to beat the shit out of your kids. And because my dad is a rebel by nature, he got the shit beat out of him a lot. And when he was 16, he learned that the best way to deal with pain is to just numb it. And that's what he's been doing. And I don't want to admit to myself that that smile isn't because he's dreaming, but it's because he was high when he died. And it's because he died of an overdose. And that's the part of my dad that I was okay being protected from. And I was okay leaving that part of him in the dark, but I can't because that part of him is the part of him that killed him. And I just want to start screaming and crying and having a temper tantrum because this wasn't supposed to fucking happen. But I can't do that because a paramedic walks in and he takes me and my sister into the kitchen, and there's my mom and my brothers. And my mom is sitting at the kitchen table and she's crying, but she's pissed. And she's like, "How the fuck could he do this? That stupid motherfucker. How the fuck could he do this to our family? How could he do this to me? How could he do this to his children?" Flashback, 6 months. It's April and I haven't moved out yet. I'm still living at home, and my dad comes home from work one day and announces that there's been a lawsuit filed against his company. And all of the employees that haven't gotten paid overtime or certain compensations for like 5 years are going to get one big back pay check. And it's going to be a huge amount of money. And my dad's department is set to receive their checks in August. So from April, May, June, July, August, everything is waiting on this check. All of the projects in the house that aren't finished yet are waiting for the check to get finished. And my dad crashed my mom's car going to meet his dealer, but mom's going to get a new car when we get the check. And all of our debt's going to be paid off when we get the check. And dad's going to go to rehab. And this check, we're not even going to gain anything from it. It's just going to get us even and get us off of rock bottom. And everybody is just so happy to not be suffering anymore. And that's all that we can look forward to. So August comes and goes. I've moved out. I'm on my own, making my own adult life. And I call my mom one day and I ask if she wants to go to BJ's with me. And she says yes. And we go. And when we're sitting in the parking lot about to walk inside, my dad calls us and he got the check. And it's September 10th. And I'll never forget it because it was the best day. And we're celebrating and we're like, our salvation has come and we don't have to suffer anymore. And it's this big like party over the phone. And my dad deposits a couple $1,000s in my mom's bank account. And she and I go into BJ's and we stock up on Tupperware and bulk items. And she drops me back off at my apartment. And I'm so happy. And I'm like, this is it. Like, all of the trauma that my family's gone through because of my dad's addictions, it's over because he can afford to go to rehab now, and this isn't going to be a problem anymore, and the house is going to get fixed, and mom's going to get a new car, and we're not going to be in debt. And I go to bed that night feeling just so grateful and happy, and like we finally got what we've been waiting for. And I wake up the next morning with the sunrise as per my new adult routine, and I lay in bed for about a half an hour, and I can't even see the sun from my window, but I just watch the sky change colors, and I'm just smiling to myself in bed. And then finally around 6 o'clock, I get out and I roll out my yoga mat and I step on, and before I can even go into my first posture, my phone rings, and I see that it's my brother. And I almost don't answer, but at the last minute I decide to, because somewhere in the back of my brain I know. And after my dad had called me and my mom at BJ's that day, he called his dealer because he just got a big ass check and he has to go to rehab now. And he wants to have one last hurrah before he goes. And it'll be 4 years this September. And I think about my dad every single day. And I think about that check. And I think about my mom's reaction and how that check was our saving grace, and everything got put off until we got the check. Fixing the house got put off. Buying a new car got put off. Getting healthy got put off. Everything got put off until my dad got this magical gift that was going to drop out of the sky and save everything. And I think about my mom's reaction and how that magical gift that we were all expecting for 6 months, instead of going towards what it was supposed to go towards, it had to pay for my dad's funeral. And it had to pay to get us out of debt. And it really didn't do anything but cause my mom more stress. And I understand why she was so mad at him, because what the fuck? You just got this thing that you've been waiting for and you're going to go and sabotage it. But then I think about my dad and how he doesn't know how to deal with his feelings because he shut them off when he was 16. And he's been numb since he was 16. And I think about that smile on his face when he died. And I remember that my dad had been dancing with the devil before my parents even met each other. And he had been fighting demons that I didn't even know existed. And I realized that that smile on his face was the first time that he was happy and relaxed, and I don't know how long. And I know that because my dad looked more alive when he was dead than he had when I looked him in the eyes 4 days before he died. And I think about that, and I think about how many things in my own life that I put off until I thought I was ready, and how many times I said, I'll do this when I have this much money, and I'll do this when I have a boyfriend, and I'll do this when I have this job. And I remember how many times I've waited for a magical solution to just fall out of the sky. But my dad did that, and when he got his solution, he was in a morgue 24 hours later. And I don't know where I'm going to be in 24 hours. So I'm going to do what I need to do now. Thank you.
Take a risk.